Welcome to the music room. I just finished recording Dry Bones, and I put the Rain Man soundtrack back up on the wall, and I was thumbing through some of the other albums while I had the turntable going, and I came across this. This is the third album from the Cars. It's called Panorama. This is a 1980 release, and I got a song and a memory off of this. So when I was in high school, you hang around with two groups. I hang around with the rockers, and I hang around with the punkers. And the punkers would listen to anything that was like punk, new wave, avant-garde, whatever, as long as it wasn't pop or rock, they were listening to it at their parties, and they were a kind of an interesting crew. And I'm friends with them today. What we call ourselves the Spuds, and so we communicate back and forth pretty much every day. And this is 40 years later now. And I couldn't stand any of that music back then. It just was like too much for me. It took me years to actually get to the point where I realized, hey, some of the stuff they listened to, it was really good. But back then I don't want to say closed-minded, but it drove me crazy. Except for one band. It was kind of like a bridge band. It was the Cars, and the Cars were right on the edge of they were commercial new wave. That's kind of where they sat in the genre world. And Cars were good. First album, the Cars, perfect. I mean, it's just great. And the Cars are a guitar-based band out of Boston. And this is the third album, completely unremarkable, except for one song. It is song number 3 on side 1, called "Gimme Some Slack." So let's see if I can cue this up here without listening to too much of the song. On the song before, I'm really quite rusty at cueing it. Not even anywhere near that one. All right, how about this? Okay. Yeah, this is coming up here, right here. This is called Touch and Go. This next song is "Give Me Some Slack." And I love this. This one is great. So this song, "Give Me Some Slack," I've put it on a lot of mix CDs, mixtapes over the years. I just love this song. The energy level, the guitar work, all that kind of thing. And for those of you who don't know, the lead singer of the Cars, his name is Ric and Ric he's a tall guy. Skin and bones. He was skin and bones back then, and I believe he's still skin and bones now. If you want to get a vision of what Ric Ocasek looks like, just think about the Night King in Game of Thrones. Ric could have been cast right into that role with no makeup. Just put him on that dead horse, and he could take over the role of the Night King. Okay, and then he shocked, in the 80s, he kind of shocked the world by marrying a supermodel named Paulina. And they're still married today, which is great. Okay. Anyway, the song off here, the memory I have off of Give Me Some Slack is I saw the Cars in El Paso when I was going to NMSU, and a friend of mine, Chris, I drove down from Las Cruces down to El Paso, and we went to the mall before, and Chris bought a new pair of shoes, and then we headed over to the El Paso Coliseum, which is like a pit right on the edge of the border. Parked the car, went in, listened to the Cars concert. It was okay. We came back out, and someone had broken into my car, and they took all my CDs. They took all my tapes. I had like 50 cassette tapes in one of those, brown canvas box things, and they took Chris's brand new pair of shoes. And so I've never heard "Give Me Some Slack" ever on any radio station since then. In the last 40 years, never heard it. And when I look at this album here, all I can think of is Chris's brand new pair of shoes he never got to wear. Give me some slack on Panorama by the Cars.